Hey everyone, this is Jeff Lund, host of the Mediocre Alaskan Podcast. I'm back for another short, authentic, non-paid, non-sponsored review and recommend. So people have asked me what's the difference between the review and the recommend. The review is just kind of a good pros and cons of something that you can go buy yourself or whatever. The recommend is something that if you're going to spend some money, this is worth spending money on. I'm not a big fan of just going out there and buying a whole bunch of stuff just to have stuff. You should buy stuff that is purposeful. I used to not really subscribe to that. I used to buy a bunch of stuff, and it was stupid. It was stupid. The more value you have with the things that you do have, the better off you're going to be if you just put value into buying new stuff and hope that's going to make you a better angler, hunter, or whatever. That's just not going to work at all. It's like the rather than having a side hustle, just save your money. Right? That's the great number one side hustle, is just being better with your money and more disciplined. And I'm more disciplined with my money than I was. And it's just so much better and happier to be able to afford things, go on trips, things like that. So, but we do want good gear. We want good gear. So if you're looking for good gear and some reviews and recommendations, that's what I'm trying to provide here. So what I'm going to review first is the Big Sky Inflatables. The Watermaster Kodiak is an absolutely great purchase that I made when I moved back up to Alaska in 2013. It's so sturdy, and it's got lock-in oars, and obviously I don't have it here in the room. I'm going for better sound, which is why I'm in here, but I'll post some videos. But it's fantastic to go across lakes and fish from lakes. It's so sturdy. I've gone on a couple floats. A couple of years ago, some friends and I went up to Wrangell and got a jet boat trip up the Stikine River up to the border, and then floated down the Stikine River, which is pretty sweet. It's about 47 pounds when you have everything there, including the oars, but they lock in and you can paddle. It's a lot more efficient if it is just floating down the river. If you're trying to row across a lake or row against any sort of tide, it can be, or body of water, tide, current, wind, it's going to be a lot less efficient. If you do want to be more efficient, if you're going to row some miles and you're not just going to float, then if you can get that bottom, the detachable bottom has been fantastic for me. And the applications in Southeast, and people have asked me about this when I posted photos of it, is most of the time when you're going hunting, you're going fishing, you're getting to where you're going to go by a boat. And so you're taking the boat out there, and sometimes you got to anchor up in the row to shore. So I've found that it's so nice to get out of your boat into a very, very sturdy inflatable raft than it is trying to finagle your way into a small kayak. So it takes a little bit of space in the back, or it may take a little bit of time to inflate, but man, it's the peace of mind stepping into a nice inflatable boat to go to shore is much better. And then of course, when you're coming back to the boat, if you have a lot of weight with your gear, with the deer, with whatever, it's so much nicer to again have that sturdiness. And you row out there. It takes a little bit more time. It's a little bit less efficient, but the peace of mind is tremendous. You don't have to worry about falling out of the boat when it's, or getting from the kayak to the boat when it's 38 degrees and raining outside and the water is cold and you're getting hypothermic. It's nice to have that nice sturdy raft that'll get you back on board. So that's the Kodiak Watermaster. It's a fantastic thing. I bought that thing in 2015, I believe. So I've had that for 7 years and just absolutely love it. Again, pros, it's great for drifting, not as much if you're going to row across bodies of water. If you don't have the detachable bottom, then you can just put your feet down. And I've done that before on floats down rivers where, if you want to stop and you want to wade fish, you just put your feet down. And it's so nice to be able to just do that. And then you have everything there. You don't have to worry about tying it up. Just put your feet down, all good. You can also kind of slow how you're drifting. Again, if it's deep enough, you don't want to be putting your feet down if it's super shallow, but handles some quick water pretty good, and just a great all around boat for a lot of different applications. So a lot heavier than a pack raft. And so you're not going to be packing it too far back. I packed it back maybe a half mile or so. And at 47 pounds, it comes in a nice dry bag backpack. So it's got straps, but you're not going to be packing in super, super far distances. If you're getting flown in or dropped off somewhere, then it's a good option, but it's probably not what you're going to want if you're hiking way back in to access water and then float out. But like I said, you can pack short distances to and from the river, no sweat. So that is the Big Sky Inflatables Watermaster Kodiak. Go check that out. As far as a recommendation, I've been doing a lot of books because why not? Something good to recommend. So this year, John Gierach, Dumb Luck and the Kindness of Strangers. Pretty much any sort of John Gierach book it's just a great read. I was thinking about this a lot in 2020 when this book came out, that at some point you have a limited amount of time with some of these people. Like at some point, all these great authors are going to write their last book. And I'm not saying that, I don't want to jinx or anything like that, but, within the next 10, 15 years, maybe he stops writing books. You never know when someone's going to stop writing books for whatever reason. So great book. Really enjoyed all of them. Dumb Luck and the Kindness of Strangers is one of the more recent ones. So I definitely check that one out. So appreciate you watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the mediocrealaskan.com. You can go on to Patreon and look at the Mediocre Alaskan there. We got a lot of stuff that's kind of consolidated. My wife and I are putting a lot of good stuff up there. So check that out on Patreon. You can also follow on Instagram at Alaska Lund or at the Mediocre Alaskan. And check out my book, A Miserable Paradise, on Amazon. Also, my book, Sell Me Something Good, about entrepreneurship and trying to empower customers to use their voice positively and make sure that we get good feedback to businesses so they can give us better products. And that'll do it. Thanks. Talk to you next time.